Welcome to Orient Live, and the O's are facing Northampton Town today on the road, and we've got a stellar panel of pundits in store for you today. We've got Jabo Abire back as always, and joining us as our special guest is Theo Archibald. Welcome both of you. It's a pleasure to have you, Theo. First of all, I mean, it's been a long time since we've seen you on the pitch. How's things been going off of it?
Yeah, pretty good for the most part. It was flying for a long time. I think obviously there was a little bit of hysteria earlier in the week about something about being out for another 10 months or something like that. That's not necessarily true at all. I'm in pretty good shape. We're just taking a little bit of a step back. These things can be a bit more complicated than what they may seem, but I reckon you'll see me back on the pitch pretty soon, and it's a pleasure to be here too, thanks.
It's a pleasure to have you. We've been talking about knee injuries, Jabo, you know it all too well yourself. But let's look at the football. And we haven't had much football over the last two weeks, apart from international football, of course, but the real football's back. We've missed it, and Richie, we've been saying, which we'll come on to shortly, I think this team have wanted to get back into league action, and today's a good opportunity to do that.
Yeah, definitely. It's sometimes nice to get a bit of a break as well, and get you, especially in terms of how the season is going, sometimes good just to get some minutes on the pitch, on the training ground, to get sort of like messages across, or people to get the niggles out the way and get their fitness back into tip-top shape. So I think they'll be chomping at the bit, and especially it's a great game to be involved in, especially where Northampton are at this moment in time.
We're equal on wins, we're equal on draws. We've played one more game than them, which was lost, but today just feel like a really important one, and one that we want to go out there and lay down a marker and pick up points and climb up the table. Yeah,
I think so. I think looking at performances, I don't think we should be where we are, but you can sit here and say that all season, and then eventually you could be relegated. It doesn't actually really matter. It's about points on the board, but also performances for the most part have been pretty good. Like as you alluded to, having the international break sometimes gives you like a full week's training, allows you to get different messages across, allows you to really focus on what game is coming up, which is obviously this one, and fancy us today. It's not been our favourite place to go to in recent years. I think in my 3 years at Orient we've not actually managed to win there, but the weather looks a little bit nicer, and I don't know, fancy us for 3 points.
It was a bad New Year's Day there a couple of years ago, but it was
the worst.
it was a Shaq Ford, I think 96th minute equaliser last season.
Yeah,
that was pretty good. Hopefully we can pick up where we left off. But how's it been from your point of view? Obviously, you've been at the training ground. How's the mood been? Are you confident in the lads going in today?
Yeah, I'm always confident in them. We've got a really good group. We've got a really talented group. It's slightly different for me. I'm not on the training pitch with them, so I'm not on the bus with them. I'm not in the hotel with them, so it's slightly more difficult to get a real deep gauge of exactly how everyone feels and whatnot. But the energy around the place, the mood around the place hasn't changed since the first day we came in for pre-season, and if that's a positive sign, I think, to be honest. The league table's the league table for what it is just now, but actually performances have been pretty good, and just need things to fall into the right place, pick up a win, and then that can get the ball rolling for really long runs of good performances and 3 points.
The performances have been there or thereabouts at the very least, Jabo, but it's League One football. Every game is tough, isn't it? Northampton are probably coming at today's game from a similar perspective to us. They'll be thinking, we want to push up the table as well. It's going to be fiercely competitive.
Yeah, I think so. I think Northampton will be looking at us licking their lips in the same respect, that thinking we're on the same points, we've got similar results so far this season, but I think in recent times our performances have been really, really good. We've been that close to sort of getting all 3 points in many of those games. Where I think Northampton, they've lost the last 2 home games. They got spanked against Wrexham the last time out. So I think they're in a worse trajectory than we are. And hearing to certain players coming off pinnacle moments in the game that I think derailed our moments in those matches. But I think we're a better team. I think we're in a better position. I think we're in a false position at the moment, and it's just putting those little tweaks correctly, and I think we can surge back up. But this is a big game to do that.
Well, Theo and Jabbo are full of confidence, and I'm sure the rest of the lads are as well. We're going to take a look at the starting lineup, but first let's hear from the gaffer. It's Richie Wellens.
How frustrating can it be for you and the squad when you've got a Saturday game called off and then you have to play it on Tuesday night and you can't walk out there on a Saturday at 3 p.m?
Yeah, well, we work all week to walk out at Brisbane Road on a 3 o'clock kickoff on a Saturday and in front of a big crowd, in front of a full house and put on a performance, and to have 3 home games on the international break for them to be rearranged on a Tuesday night is, I think it's a little bit unfair. I think the international break should be spread where you have away games. It's a lot easier to play, in my opinion, it's a lot easier to play away from home on a Tuesday night than it is on a Saturday afternoon because the crowds are inevitably a lot bigger. So it's not ideal, but it's what we've been served up. We just have to deal with it and get on with it.
Northampton, they're a side who have had a pretty similar path to us in the last couple of years or so. What are you expecting from the game at Sixfields?
Yeah, I mean, I think John's done a terrific job there. The fact that I think he finished 1 or 2 places below us last year, an outstanding season, because we know how difficult it is to get promoted, and it's not Northampton and not Wrexham, they're not Stockport where they come up and they're expected to go again, or the finances and the budget allows them to go again. They're very similar to us. We got promoted, we finished 11th, I think. I can't remember I think they finished 13th, and then they lose a couple of their best players and they have to rebuild. Like I say, I'm full of admiration for what John has done. Teams are always hard to play against.
Right then, let's crack on and take a look and see how the O's are going to be lining up as we face Northampton Town this afternoon. And here is your team. And there's a handful of changes from the last game where we won on penalties against Colchester. And the most notable change is in goal, where Josh Keeley makes his league debut. It's a solid back four in front of him though, with Jack Corrie on the left side of defence and Tom James occupies the right hand side, and our 2 centre backs is Dan Happy alongside the captain today, Omar Beckles. In midfield, Jordan Brown partners Dom Ball, and then the 3 just ahead of them two is Dan Adjie on one flank with Ollie O'Neill on the other, and Ethan Galbraith, back from international duty, occupies that number 10 role, and leading the line is is Charlie Kelman. And then on the bench for the O's is Noah Phillips, Jack Simpson, Darren Prattley, Zach Obiero, Jordan Graham, Sonny Perkins and Jamie Donnelly. Now let's start off, Jabbo, with 2 of the big omissions from the team really. First is Zach Hemmings. It's a fantastic opportunity for Josh Keeley to come in and show what he's about, but the big one I'm sure for you is no Sean Clare. It's a big old blow. He's picked up a knock, I think, in the last couple of weeks. He's been fantastic of late.
Yeah, he's been a revelation. I think he's been a catalyst in our surge in recent times. And you notice sometimes when he's come off during particular games because he got those injuries and he's tried to play through it, you notice a difference and the performance has slightly changed. So he's going to be a big blow, but the players coming in and Dom Ball now gets a little run and you can see what experience and stuff he's going to bring to the side. So I'm more than confident we'll be fine, but it is a big blow because he was really showing some promising signs there.
He has, since moving into midfield, he's kind of tried to do some really good performances for us as a team, hasn't it? It's a big blow for Sean, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's just a shame for Sean that he's not going to be playing. He's important for us. He can play multiple positions. He brings good energy. He's very calm on the ball. Sort of alluded to what you just said. He's kind of quite often been the catalyst for more aggressive pressing and whatnot. And he's a big character on the pitch. And I feel bad for him because he was obviously settling into the team. He's new. He's settling into the team. He's getting into his rhythm, and he's been knocked off of it. But like with injuries, then there's time for the next person to step in, and Dom will obviously be in midfield today, and it's not a bad replacement at all.
That was my next question, because Jordan Brown and Dom Ball there, it's 2 battlers. It's a finely balanced midfield there, and the more they play together as well, the more hopefully that clicks. Yeah,
definitely. I was delighted when we brought Dom in. I think it was our last transfer. He was towards the end of the window, I think. And I'd never actually played against him, but I just remember Lawrence Vigouroux was harping on about his good friend Dom Ball. So when Dom Ball signed, I was like, well, if he's good friends with Lawrence, then he's got to be a pretty good bloke. And and he is, and he's got huge amounts of experience, and I think that's important. We've got quite a young squad, lots of talent, but I think experience sometimes is actually just invaluable. And Dom brings that. Dom brings a calm head. Does the simple things well. Knows what positions to be in and whatnot. And he's not played that much football in the last couple of years, but the more minutes he gets, the more we'll see the best of him, I think. So I'm delighted he's in the heart of the midfield today.
And hopefully the more he plays, the more he does settle in there. But someone who's going to have to settle in quite quickly is Josh Keeley in goal. He started against Brentford in that Carabao Cup tie, made a number of good saves. It's almost like a second debut for him today, though. It's going to be a big one for him.
It's going to be a big one, but just watching his performance against Brentford, the saves he made, and it was quite commanding, and he was a good shot stopper. So, and in front of him, he's got a really nice, solid defence that have played together and have some good understanding. So, I think he's picked a good game to come into, and he's got an opportunity, and let him start, and hopefully he does really well.
And he's of course got Dan Happy and Omar Beckles, the two centre backs in front of him. They're probably the centre back pairing that we've experienced most success with in the last kind of couple of seasons. They seem to know each other's game, and Omar's been fantastic so far this season. But them two, they do just really work together, don't they?
Yeah, it's funny. It's kind of always been the centre back pairing that I've known since being at Orient, and then I've been, obviously points where Dan's had injuries and different people have come in, but they always kind of find themselves back with each other, and I'm sure it'll change again throughout the season. I'm sure. I think that's the point of having a big squad. We've got Jack Simpson there, who's a fantastic left-footed centre back, and Brandon Cooper, who I don't actually think is even on the bench today, a fantastic right-sided centre back. Today we've got Omar and Haps, and like you say, they know each other's game well. I think Omar in particular has been rock solid for us this season. He's just that guy sometimes. I think when things maybe aren't quite going your way, or maybe the team needs a little bit of a kick, he's really the guy that steps up to the plate and wins every header and wins every tackle and brings you kind of all with him. He's a real warrior like that. I love playing with him, to be honest. It's the reason why he's got the armband on when Prats isn't on the pitch.
And it feels like a very finely balanced defence as well when you've got Jack Curry at left back and Tom James at right back. It's really it's a very solid back four, isn't it?
Yeah, very very capable, very solid, and they all kind of complement each other's game very well. And the more you get that synergy and that understanding, that consistency, and I think unfortunately for stages of this season there's just been injuries, or there hasn't been able to pick a solid starting 11 for a few weeks on the spin. So this would be nice just to sort of get that synergy, get that rhythm going. And for me, that's arguably the back four I would go with anyway. So I think it'd be good, and hopefully they can just get on a run, get a good result, get a clean sheet, and build upon that.
Well, goals and exciting football is your department, Theo. So let's talk about that for just a moment. We've looked really good this season. Some of the big teams we've played, and we've played some fantastic football. But Richie's been vocal about saying we need to put teams to bed. We need to score those goals. It feels like that's really close.
It does. I mean, this season I found, and maybe I found it in other seasons as well. But we seem to quite often need to work really, really, really hard in order to finally be rewarded with our goal. And then I look at sometimes the goals we concede. I think of the Peterborough game, for example, a few weeks ago on the Tuesday, and we're playing some really good stuff. And then we're dominating the game, and then they score twice in 2 minutes. They scored in the 44th and then 46th minute, and then you're going in behind. And I just can't quite work it out. And the gaffer's probably right. We just need to be really ruthless and put teams to bed. And wingers coming in at the back post and scoring scrappy goals, rubbish goals. And I think there's been quite a lot of focus on that this week. I think they'll have done a lot more. I mean, I'm not on the training pitch, so I don't get to see everything that's going on, obviously. But I think they'll have been doing a lot more sort of decompartmentalised work with defenders, midfielders, and attackers working with the different members of staff, just to really focus more finely what is required of them. And then obviously in the attacker sense, that's putting the ball in the back of the net.
Then you think of some fixtures this season, I think at Stockport really is the only game where it has clicked. But what I was going to say is when it does click, it's good.
Yeah, it really is, and we know we've got the players that can finish, and when they get those opportunities, it's just sometimes, like Theo was saying, we dominate the ball. We work so well to get so close to those fine areas, and then it just seems like we have to just really create something. You want to see more scrappy goals. You want to see sort of like flashed across the face of the goal. Someone at the back pitch just hits the leg and goes in. But at least we're getting in those positions, and now it's just, can we just turn those opportunities into goals? But then making those right decisions when we are in and around the last third, because sometimes it looks like someone could shoot, but if they lay it off to the right, they've got a bit of opportunity. So it is about using a bit of nous in those last third moments where we can capitalise, rather than someone just thinking it's the obvious opportunity to do something, whereas to the right or to the left they could just lay it off and it's the easy opportunity for someone else. So it's about being ruthless in the decision making as well.
Well, some goals would be very welcome, that's for sure. And of course, don't forget, if you're watching along live on our YouTube stream, then this afternoon's game is available to stream for all viewers outside of the UK. If you're in the UK, then you can pick up an audio pass to listen along with Dave Victor and Matt Hiscock on the audio commentary. Just head over to the Match Centre on the website and pick up your streaming passes, whether that's audio or for the visual streaming. Make sure you follow this one along, and hopefully the O's can pick up all 3 points. But now, taking a break from today, the Leighton Orient Trust hosted a special Career Insight Day. Let's take a very quick look and see how that went.
So we've been at Thomas Willingale School today, doing an assembly, learning all about Junior Dukes. So yeah, it's been a really good little afternoon for us, learning about all the ins and outs of that. And yeah, I mean, it's always good to do stuff for the schools and get out in the community. So yeah, it's been a good day.
So we were here for being a role model and an ambassador of these children, which was really good and a good experience for us as well. But it was good being a role model for females as well, because a lot of females don't get greater opportunity as men. So like girls can have more opportunity to play football if they wanted to.
It's been great fun. I've done my Duke of Edinburgh at school. It gives you loads of life skills, valuable lessons, and I remember learning how to cook, things like that. Things that you don't usually do at school. So yeah, it's been good, and it was nice answering all their questions. I know that they would want to probably be asking us questions all day, but yeah, it was good fun.
We were privileged to have Leighton Orient come in, who are our ambassadors for our Junior Dukes system. We promote this in our school for resilience, for growth mindset, for life skills. It's a really, really important part of how our children can learn and grow to be great people when they get bigger.
Top stuff there. And Jabba, it's an important part of football nowadays, isn't it? And looking at careers, is it something that was discussed with yourself much?
Yeah, I think it does comes and goes in the dressing room, sort of like, especially when you get to an older age, there's a lot more discussion about sort of post playing, and remember when I was starting at Orient, and Matty Joseph and Roger Joseph especially would always try and guide us and explain to us to be sensible with our money, and start thinking about things early, don't just wait to the end. So there's various discussions, but I always just say, just have an open mind to many things, and use your contacts to make interesting experiences away from football as well, because I think they come in handy post career.
Just like ending up on the Orient live stream with me.
There you go. There you go.
Perfect for you, Jabbo. But let's turn our attention back to football then, Theo. And we've touched on Dom Ball already, but we've got some clips of kind of how he's impacted this team of late. And let's take a look at some of these now. And Richie said a lot early in the season about needing experience in the squad and needing that bit of know-how, and he's really brought that, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. It's just, like I said, sometimes experience is just invaluable, and it's not necessarily about talent. Of course, he has plenty of talent, but he's just grit and determination and a calm head, and makes the right decisions. And I think that was in the Carabao Cup game there, where he actually played right back. So he can obviously, he's got a few strings to his bow in terms of what positions he can play. And he's just, he's a warrior, and he's someone you want to walk out onto the pitch with. I've obviously not had the pleasure of doing so yet, but I'm looking forward to the day that I do. And yeah, maybe I'm doing him a disservice by talking about his kind of the uglier side of the game that he does well, but he picks a good pass. wants to play forward. He's positive. There's not much more I can say about him really, but he's obviously come in today, and he needs to just I think I spoke to him after the Stockport game. It was the first time he'd played close to 90 minutes. I think he said he was pretty tired, obviously. So I think we're only going to see a better version of Dom the more he plays and the more he gets used to the system and etc. This is kind of him just warming up, and I'm excited to see him in there with Jordan today.
I mean, he's so good. I think we've shown all of the clips twice over here, but he does bring, as Theo said, he brings that grit and that strength, and as Theo says as well, he's got a bit on the ball. We're going to see more and more of that. I don't think he, as Theo mentioned earlier as well, he'd only played a handful of games in the last season or two. He's probably played more football than he was expecting when he joined so fast. So it's hopefully just going to go from strength to strength.
Yeah, of course. Everyone knows as a player, you the more you play, the more you get your match fitness and your match sharpness, and get those pictures in your head again. You're just going to improve. And playing the early games he's played and having this little break, his body's probably come back to him now, and he's ready and roaring to go. And you see the way he just plugs areas, knows where to be, knows where to fill in spaces, knows where to put his body. And it's important to have that nice spine with Omar and Haps and him just down the middle. It allows the younger players to get forward and have more of a free license. So I think as he just gets back into the rhythm, I just think like Theo's saying, we're going to see the best of him.
Right, then not long to go until kick-off, so let's take a look at the home side and see how they're going to be lining up and see what the O's have in store today. So here on screen you can see in goal for John Brady's team is their number one. It is Lee Burge. Across the back four is Akinwale Odemeo and Nesta Guinness. Walker in the fullback positions. Their captain John Guthrie is in the centre back alongside Jack Baldwin. In midfield you have Cameron McGeehan alongside Jack Sowerby. And Mitchell Pinnock, Ben Fox and Sam Hoskins are just ahead of him, and leading the line for them is Tom Eaves. The average age of that starting 11 is 29, nearly 30 years old, so it's an experienced Northampton town side there. And on the bench for them is Nick Zanev, Liam McCarron, Tyler McGlory, Sammy Kuchain, Tariq Fosu Henry, William Hondermark and Tyler Roberts. The first name that jumps out really there, and I think he's scored against us a few times in recent years, is Sam Hoskins. He's their danger man, isn't he?
He's one of them. I mean, you've even got guys on the bench like Tariq Fosu and Tyler Roberts, who are both good players for the level, and they're not even playing actually. They have good, dangerous, wide players. They have good players in the forward positions, and I think that's something to certainly be aware of. Actually, when we were doing the video analysis yesterday, I suppose having been injured this season, I've maybe not quite paid quite as much attention to every signing that every club has kind of made, because you're not quite as engrossed in the football. Sometimes you actually need a little bit of a break from the manic football world that you're in. So we're going through the squad yesterday, and I didn't realise how much talent that they had at the top end of the pitch. If we're not on it today defensively, and as a defensive unit, the whole team, then they'll cause us real problems. Ethan Pinnock again, got a great left foot on him. Give him too much time on the ball and he'll cause us problems as well. So we need to be on it today. There's no doubt about it.
Well, we've got some video analysis of our own, Jabbo, and Theo said about their quality in wide areas and moving forward. And look, if we're going to see from these guys now, they score a lot of goals from wide positions, getting balls into the box. Some real quality in that final third, and it's, as Theo said, it's something we're going to have to be really alive to.
Yeah, and definitely, some of these players have played together for a long time as well. Pinnock's been there, Hoskins has been there for a while, so they understand each other's games. They've always been a strong outfit, and then it looks like he's gone for a bit more of an experienced, solid side today, because they've got some exciting, sort of trickier players left out on the bench today. But yeah, they're not. But at the same time, they're not in great form, especially at the back. Watching some of their goals they conceded last week, they're a bit weak at the back. But clearly here, they've tried to get balls in the box. Mitch Pinnock's got, he scored some spectacular goals. I've seen him hit some ones from outside the box. So we have to give them the respect. But at the same time, we know they're vulnerable, especially from back post crosses.
Yeah, from the videos we've seen there, it feels like we could be in for a peppering, but as we've already kind of discussed, what's funny, Joe? Omar and Dan, they win their headers, and they're going to have to win every header today to make sure we do kind of withstand that pressure from Northampton.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's just that. I think it's the forward players need to get pressure on the ball early to not allow their more attacking players the time and space that they want to get on it. And if you give the defence time on the ball and the press isn't right, then they'll find pockets and they'll play around you and they'll get their full-backs forward and they'll put balls in the box and then they'll build pressure and then, you know, it'll cause us problems. So it's not just about necessarily Omar and Dan winning headers. Of course, that's, you know, a fundamental of defending, but actually as a unit, it's about pressing from the front and not giving them a moment's respite to even try and get into those attacking areas.
I don't know if it's just because we play them in some grim winter months, but as Theo mentioned earlier, it does feel like it's always really windy. They're in like the middle of a bowl. They're on the side of a hill. It's not a really nice away day to go. We're gonna have to show a lot of character today, aren't we?
Yeah, we definitely do. And knowing, like I said, from previous visits there, and I think the last 3 times we've been there, we haven't won. So I think today could be the turning point. Like Theo said, it's a better day. It's a sunnier day. So hopefully it'll be a sunnier result.
Well, the winter months are approaching. Of course, that means that those fixtures start approaching. The dark, cold days, and it becomes a bit of a scrap. It's important that we take today as that opportunity to get points on the board and kind of get ahead of that and start building up some momentum, isn't it?
Well, certainly, because every time we play these away from home, it seems to be in December or January, and we can't do so. So yeah, let's play them in October before the clocks have gone back, and pick up 3 points hopefully today. Yeah.
Are you feeling confident that we can use the last couple of weeks on the training pitch and put that into effect today, Jabbo? It's some 3 points would be really nice. Yeah.
I think 3 points would be awesome. I think it's definitely needed, and I think there's no better game coming off an international break to be playing these, especially in the precarious situation they're in at the moment. They find themselves in. I think we'll be up for it. I think he always does well to get his message across during these breaks, and we seem to come out flying after these breaks. So hopefully today's the day.
Which way do you think this one's going to go then, Jabba? I'm going to put you on the spot.
I think we'll win, maybe by 1 goal, but we'll win.
You'd take it.
Yep.
You'd take it. Well, the players are making their way out onto the pitch now. So let's hand over to our match commentary team of Dave Victor and Matt Hiscock.